The news in details. Now, the inaugural season of the Basketball Africa League has now begun. Rwanda's Patriots BBC having faced off against Nigeria's Rivers Hoopers in Kigali on Sunday. The opening game of the much-anticipated league was attended by a just fraction of 10,000 people. The Kigali Arena is able to hold due to the COVID-19 preventive measures being enforced. Serge Nori has more on this report.
Patriots BBC won its opening game against Rivers Hoopers 80-63 in the first game of the league that is featuring 12 African teams from across the continent in its inaugural season, organized by FIBA Africa and the North American NBA. The Kigali Arena featured only 2,000 fans on Sunday as COVID-19 preventive measures were respected, and the game itself got off to a fast pace, with the Patriots' Kenny Gasana and Steve Haguminwari scoring 3 points in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter, helping their side to stay within striking distance of the Nigerian club that had gotten off to a good start. The American rapper J. Cole also entered the game in the first quarter for Patriots, joining another American on the court, Brandon Costner, his Patriot teammate. Cole scored 2 points in the first half of the game that ended with Rivers leading 18 to Patriots 17 points. The second half was very different for both sides, with Patriots coming out firing in all cylinders and outscoring their Nigerian rivals 26-16, giving a total of 43 points scored in that half alone by the Rwandan side and Rivers Hoopers scoring 34. J. Cole would finish the game with 3 points after playing a total of 7 minutes. The Patriots bench ended up outscoring the Rivers bench 19 to just 4 by the end of the third quarter, and the Rwandan side had a comfortable lead of 21 points. The game ending with that gap growing to 23. Brandon Costner was the highest scorer in the entire game with 20 points, 2 rebounds and 2 assists. The highest scoring Rivers player, another American, Terrence Sullivan, would end up with 15 points. On Monday, Group C games will feature AS Douane of Senegal versus GS Petroleers, and then Zamalek of Egypt will take on Ferroviario Maputo of Mozambique. Group A that Patriots belong to will also see action on Monday evening, with US Monastir of Tunisia facing GNBC of Madagascar. The Patriots will take to the court again on Wednesday to face GNBC.
Thank you, Serge, for that report. Now, a cross-section of people and financial institutions. What the Ministry of Justice to expedite the use of technology to set their hearings due to suspension of court bailiffs causing delayed justice. Gloria Mutesi continues.
Rukundo Jean-Claude won a case against his employer and was to be compensated 1.9 million Rwanda francs. But 4 months later, the ruling has not yet been enforced. He shares in the same trouble with Valence Turatsinze, who after 5 months is still waiting to be compensated 6.7 million Rwanda francs due to the fact that court bailiffs aren't working. For instance, the money I paid the lawyer, I had borrowed it. They might as well decide to report me, but they just decide to understand. We are unable to pay school fees for children, or even plans we had have all come to a halt.
I
was to be paid 1.9 million. That's not little money. I'm a businessman, so that money would help me carry on with my business. So without it, I lose out. A number of banks and microfinance institutions are having the same concern. Our wish is that the Ministry of Justice, together with partners, ensure that the system is back in place as soon as possible, so that banks don't continue to incur losses on top of the other negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The head of the Access to Justice Department, Urujeni Martin, says that ever since the judicial sector started using technology across services, the court bailiffs became reluctant to collect all information needed, hence why it is hard to fulfill all the requirements through technology. We are currently working with the Association of the Pro-Bailiffs Rwanda, and we informed them that they have to get all the information and requirements needed for the system to be fully up and running, and we believe that this will be done as soon as possible. And up to 90% of the work has been included on the online system, and once we get confirmation from the association, we shall resume the work of the bailiffs. The Executive Secretary of the Pro-Bailiffs Rwanda says that they are liaising with the Ministry of Justice to see that they too can embrace the use of technology and solve all the issues in the system.
ahubwo usanga hariho abarigisa abashakisha uburyo bakwikuraho imitungo.
The way things currently are and the progress made, I'd like to point out that there are some things that were required to do that we couldn't fulfill in the shortest period of time, as was in the statement from the Ministry of Justice. Because the bailiffs were required to add some information as well as revisions that were to be made by the Ministry of Justice. So we worked together with the ministry, and on our side, we fulfilled all that was required. And we are to present the report to the Ministry of Justice tomorrow for them to pave a way out. The Ministry of Justice decided to suspend the work of the court bailiffs on the 25th of April until revisions had been made in the system.
Now, tourism agencies at the shore of Lake Kivu in Rwanda district pointed out that the more the COVID-19 preventive measures are lessened, the more likely it is that people will come for leisure and relaxation. It is hoped that tourists will increase once borders between Gisenyi and Goma have opened. This is being expected as hotels and restaurants, by the looks of it, are ready to provide quality services, even though some of them barely receive customers, except during weekends, as the majority come from Kigali and other parts of the country. There are still challenges, as some tend not to comply with the COVID-19 preventive measures. Although many people go to Rwanda to relax and have fun while visiting different beautiful sites, they are being warned to be cautious of the fact that Rwanda is still struggling to fight the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hence, those who are caught violating the preventive measures are punished. Now let's move on to children born in families with conflict and domestic violence leading up to separation say that as much as they try to endure, they are left traumatized because of not being raised in a stable family, something that some say has caused them to be afraid of starting their own families in fear of turning out like their parents. Gloria Mutesi has more on this story.
This is Bayavuge Beatrice's home that she no longer shares with the ex-husband, with whom they separated in Bachuba sector in Nyamashoche district. They got married in 1992 and together they have 4 children. For the 26 years that they spent together, they were mostly characterized by criticisms of one another and conflicts within the family. He used to bring other women home, and he would take all the money we would have worked for together and take it to the other women. I used to suspect that she was cheating on me. I didn't have evidence though. She also disrespected me, and I never took any of the money that she's talking about. By 2018, they decided that they had had enough of each other and decided to part ways and divorce before the authorities. Their youngest, who is 17 years old, studies from a school nearby. She is gutted as she speaks to our reporter, narrating how it's not been easy for her since the father left their home. I don't feel happy because I don't live with both my parents. I feel sad when I look at other children who live happily with both of their parents. Gatera got remarried and has 1 child with a new wife, while Beatrice didn't remarry. They stay in the same neighborhood and often bump into each other. Asked if there's a possibility to get back together, this is what they both say. Before God, he's still my husband because we made vows till death do us part, or until the second coming of Jesus. So Jesus hasn't come back yet, and none of us has died. The government can't allow me to have both women legally. For me to do that, perhaps the authorities can help me and give me a way out. Their child, however, says she does not wish for her parents to reconcile because of all the bad experiences she has gone through. Because my dad went and got another wife and my mom stayed alone, I would prefer he doesn't come back. When I finish school, I will work hard and help out my mother. I hope my father can learn and live in harmony with the new wife. The conflicts in this family also have impacts on the future of their children. Their daughter now says she is afraid to start her own family. Before I get married, I will be patient and take my time to study my partner, know their behavior, and see if I can tolerate them. The Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion says they have programs aimed at preparing those that decide to start families together to avoid such conflicts.
ku buryo twashyizeho uburyo bushya bwo gutegura abagiye kurushinga.
We have set up programs for those that wish to start their families, for them to take lessons and see what they are getting into, so that both partners can study each other and see what they can handle and what they cannot handle before making this commitment.
Ndabona hari ibyo ntashobora.
A report from the Supreme Court indicates that in 2018, nationwide divorce cases filed to court increased by 1,900%, adding that in 2016, there were 21 cases, 69 in 2017, and 1,311 in 2018. Reporting for RTV News, Gloria Mutisi.
Well, it's tough out here, people. Well, until then, Jesus comes back. It has been observed that poultry farming, when done professionally, can help to transform the welfare of communities. Poultry farmers in Rwanda are, however, calling for investment when it comes to processing plants for poultry feed. Serge Nore has more on this report.
Jean-Baptiste Musabyimana is an investor in Rwanda's eastern province and owns a poultry business that started with 8,000 chickens, and that number has now grown to 50,000. It's certainly a profitable business, and today I can say that because of my experience over the last 4 years. I have seen that it is profitable. Jean-Baptiste has also opened a factory that produces between 20,000 and 30,000 tons of animal feed daily. Other investors in the eastern province have also been doing well in the poultry business.
Started this project in 2013. I came here in 2015 as a general manager of Poultry East Africa. I saw the potential here and I invested myself along with my other partners to produce this other business, Cheap Chicks.
The poultry industry can be one full of challenges, however, when not engaged in properly, and it is not uncommon to hear of farmers losing thousands of chickens to things like disease. Proper training on poultry rearing has helped to address this problem. The industry has also been helping to create jobs and begin transforming the welfare of local communities, though even people as successful as Jean-Baptiste Musabyimana admit that they are sometimes frustrated by the challenges that exist in the poultry business. One challenge is that we must always train our staff because in most cases they do not have enough knowledge about this sort of thing. Another challenge is getting chicks for our business. That requires importing them. During times like this of COVID, many flights are cancelled. Then getting them becomes a problem. Making poultry feed can also be challenging because some things are also imported and volatile international prices do not help. Other animal feed manufacturers have also been facing problems, with profits slashed by as much as 80% since the COVID-19 pandemic began. Shortages of maize and soya have also been blamed for pushing up the prices of animal feed. Institutions like Enabel, the Belgian Development Agency, have injected up to 30 million euros in Rwanda's agricultural sector, half of which will go towards the promotion of the rearing of small livestock like chickens and pigs because of the positive impact they have been found to have on the welfare of communities. Officials in the Rwanda Agriculture Board say the soya shortage problems will soon be addressed. During this agricultural season, we are working with soya seed multipliers and collectors who have been doing so since the 2020 agricultural season, and so far close to 2,000 tons have been collected, which is a lot. That is all stored in the warehouses of the seed multipliers, and we are looking for a way to have them sold to farmers who will first sign contracts that the produce must go to animal feed producers. Figures from RAB indicate that the country produced up to 15,715 tons of chicken meat during the 2016-2017 fiscal year, and that the figure is expected to increase to 20,583 during the coming fiscal year of 2021-2022. 243.6 million chicken eggs were produced in Rwanda back in 2016-2017, and again the figure will go up to 269.7 million in 2021-2022.
The government of Rwanda has so far spent more than 33 billion Rwandan francs on the Girinka program since it was first introduced back in 2006. Now, beneficiaries of this one cow per family program say it has transformed their lives.
Eugenie Kanhundi and Christine Murerwa of Kamonyi district in the southern province were given their cows in 2017 and 2018 respectively, and say they not only helped them to transform their lives, but those of their children as well by fighting malnutrition.
I now harvest more than 200 kilograms of beans, and even after selling some and giving my neighbors, I still have up to 200 kilograms left in my house. I started drinking milk again and became healthy. I'm 60 years old, but it is hard to tell just by looking at me. I sell some of the milk to buy other nutritious foods for the children, and my grandchild can get scholastic materials. We are grateful to the President because he enabled us to be able to help others among us. When a woman gives birth, we can take some milk for them and our children get nutritious foods without us having to go out and buy them because we grow them right here, having gotten manure. We have no malnourished children here because almost all of them get milk.
Local leaders play an important role in helping to select which residents should get the cows based on their needs and how calves are donated to beneficiaries when the time comes. They say programs like Girinka help people to better understand other government programs as well.
Kuko usanga abantu bo mu mudugudu wacu inka bazitayeho kuko bazibonye bazikeneye.
The beneficiaries in our settlement take good care of the cows they were given because they really needed them. Whenever problems arise, the settlement vet is called to assist. When a calf is born, it is donated to a person without a cow of their own. And the beneficiaries support government development programs like this because they know how important they are. Parliamentarians, however, recently pointed out that certain government programs like Girinka still face some serious challenges.
ku karere ka Bugesera hagaragara ko batanze inka zidahaka.
In Bugesera district, it has become obvious that they distributed cows that are infertile. The regulations state that cows donated as part of the Girinka program must be able to become fertile after no more than 4 months at the most. Now, we spoke to district authorities about the problem, as well as officials in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, and it became clear that apart from Huye district, the others, Rusizi and Bugesera, had insurance on their cows but did not submit their claims on time to the Office of the Auditor General.
Officials at the Rwanda Agriculture Board are giving assurances that since 2018, any problems in the Girinka program have been progressively addressed and its primary objectives are being attained.
The objective was never to just give them cows, but also help to improve people's nutrition, increase their income through their selling of milk, improve crop harvest by using manure, and promote unity and reconciliation by encouraging beneficiaries to donate the calves of their cows to those that had no livestock of their own. No cow bought and distributed as part of the Girinka program was ever given to beneficiaries already infertile. As for some of them not being insured, the initiative to insure them began in 2019, and all of the cows are covered. The problems that we've been facing, and they are not serious, have to do with some cows dying and the beneficiaries getting compensated late.
RAB says 406,540 cows have been distributed as part of the Girinka program since 2006, and the government has spent more than 33.2 billion Rwandan francs.
Well, on behalf of the entire news production, thank you for sticking with us. I'm Jane Mutoni. Good night.